the science of today is the technology of tomorrow. One that grows and takes us forward, fast forward to the next level. Upwards and inwards. An online bubble, your bubble. A digital bubble. A digital dream becomes a collaborative bubble full of knowledge, abundance, joy, and dating. Data moving in a carousel that goes round and round and comes around, goes round, brings us a new landscape. An HPC landscape with a view, made accessible for you. So let's surf on waves of data and deep dive in cloud technology and AI for science. Make this a memorable day and reach for the clouds. Welcome everybody and good afternoon at Surf Research Week. Live from the studio in The Hague, our 3-day event has begun. Well, this was quite an unusual opening, you might think, and you just saw a live spoken word and music performance, which is quite rare these days. Art and music can open up our hearts and definitely clear the mind. Certainly for researchers who have their heads stuck in all kinds of data, for instance. Thank you, Sybren, for your beautiful melodies, and we'll hear from you later. Now, I'm standing in the Fokker Terminal, a place that literally breathes technical developments. This terminal housed the Technical School for Aviation Technology from 1961 to 1993. And in 2009, the building was redeveloped as a conference and event venue as it is today, the Fokker Terminal. Great that you've all joined us online to be inspired, receive more knowledge, and stay connected with fellow researchers, research supporters, and other people that share the same interests in ICT and science. I hope you had a pleasant meetup just now in our network carousel with fellow professionals. Do you actually still remember the name of the person you've spoken to? I hope so, because then you can stay connected also after the event. Now, welcome again. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Emily Zipson. I'm your moderator the coming 3 days, and maybe some of you might recognize me as in 2019, I hosted a live event during Surf's Super Day. You remember when we were still allowed to sit close together, to be with more people than 50 in one room, and to smell and feel each other. But I'm also very honored to host this online edition. Our virtual world offers many possibilities nowadays, as you know, so I'm sure we'll have a vibrant 3 days. Now, we have an inspiring 3-day online program. Let's have a look at the program on the slide. I see questions. Yes, there I can see the program. We'll have a sneak peek at the supercomputer, a few breaks, an exciting energizer with the Nemo Science Museum. There'll be several parallel sessions, and then we'll have a closing at 4:45. Now, each afternoon of the SURF Research Week, we have a different theme, because our overall theme is moving fast forward together. Now, the themes for today are the high-performance computing landscape. I spoke about it in my spoken word in a more romantic way, and the challenges in data processing. It's quite interesting, and I'm sure I will learn a lot, just like you. Talking about you, behind your laptop, we'd really like you to interact with us the coming 3 days. How? Well, very easy. You can use the chat or the poll. There's a chat stream on the right side of your screen. Please ask your questions in the chat about the program or anything you'd like to. I have a moderator backstage who can help me for the questions, and he will select the most important ones. We don't have time to answer all of your questions, but I'm sure we can answer a few. But you can also interact with us via the poll, and the question we have is for you: who is watching? Who is watching? Are you a researcher, a research supporter, an ICT advisor, an ICT manager, or other? It takes about 20 seconds before we can see all the answers. So while you're doing that, I'd like to introduce my 2 special table guests for this first afternoon. Previously, she was chairwoman of the board of In Holland and the Amsterdam School of the Arts. Please welcome Chair of SURF's Board of Directors, Jet de Ranitz, and Innovation Manager Research at SURF, Maurice Bauhaus.
Hi.
Welcome, Maurice.
Very nice to be here, thank you.
You're welcome. Nice to have you here. Now, how are you both? Jet?
Wonderful. It was great to see some actual real-life colleagues in the hall coming into Fokker Terminal today, but it's even nicer to have so many people joining us online.
Sure. Of course, of course. And how are you?
Yeah, I feel very lucky to be outside of my bedroom office for once in at least 3 months. So I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah, I can imagine. This event is completely different than the last one.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about that?
Definitely different. Last time we came together, there were 300 people in a very small room, something that feels totally awkward now, which was normal then. So I'm still happy that we have the ability to organize it in this way and to keep this community together.
Exactly, exactly. Well, so am I. Now, we're going to chat to open this afternoon together. Now, Jet, you're the chair of SURF's Board of Directors since last year, May.
Yes.
How is that? And what are your, responsibilities for SURF?
Well, of course, as the CEO, you're sort of responsible for everything.
Yes.
Fortunately, we have a lot of great employees who make sure that I don't have to worry about everything all the time. And it's been challenging to switch over because it was in the middle of lockdown. So it was literally closing the one laptop and opening the other and meeting SURF from my own room at home. But we've learned a lot last year also in how to make that digital world our own, and it's become much more normal to work like this. And I think of all the people that I meet, nobody's really saying, let's go back to where we were
exactly.
when
so
this
you
started.
can imagine yourself doing that more often.
Oh, I think so. I think we'll see a lot of changes. On the other hand, we're also experiencing how it is if you're in a digital environment 100% of the time, and that really is too much.
Exactly.
So we're looking for a better balance.
Yeah, some creativity. Throw some creativity in there to...
Little bit of creativity and a
Exactly.
little bit more autonomy in how to arrange your life instead of having it forced down your throat. But then I think we'll see a lot of movement.
Right, right. Now, which is more unique in your position? That you're a woman or that you're an alpha type of personality?
Well, of course, it is special that I'm the first woman on the board of SURF. On the other hand, I think it is more particular that I'm not an ICT person because I studied French, and that I'm also not a professor, because that really is a first for this board. But there's lots more women working in ICT and a lot of women working at SURF as well. So being the alpha person and the odd one out is...
You're bringing something else.
I hope so.
Yes, exactly, exactly. But you're also a supervisor in the arts.
Yes, I'm a supervisor in the arts and in health, and also have been in media. And I find it very interesting to see all these different sectors and see how ICT influences all these sectors and what that means for us at SURF in terms of what we need to build and what kind of services we need to offer to make other professionals able to do their job better.
Right, right. And talking about the arts, do you see any similarities between artists and scientists?
I do actually, because they're all professionals, and usually it's about excellence, and they have a passionate image in their head of things they want to achieve,
Right.
that nobody else can see because it's in their head. But we do need to move with them to achieve that vision, and that gives a certain kind of tension in the organisation. And so for me, working with artists is quite similar to working with ICT people and also with professors who are, they have the same kind of drive.
Do you agree, Maurice?
Yes, definitely. Sorry. No, I definitely agree. Both are very stubborn. They have a stubbornness from their basic, in their basic core.
Yeah.
And it's nice to work with them both, or at least I like it.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. By the way, dear people at home, if you have any questions for Jet or Maurice, please ask them in the chat, because this is the time, and at the end of our talk, we have a bit of time to ask those questions. Now, Jet, during your initial period at SURF, you led many discussions about research and ICT with various executives. What did you take away from those conversations?
Well, I think what we've been experiencing last year more abundantly than we had before is that ICT is becoming an integral part of research no matter what discipline you're in.
Right.
I think for the technical studies, that was already a given, and we've learned a lot from them actually, also in how we want to innovate at SURF. But we now see that the social sciences and also humanities are doing more and more. So this is becoming the standard. And that means that we need to move forward together also in facilitating this and investing in the infrastructure, investing in the right tooling, and also how to collaborate. Because, of course, we would not have been able to find a vaccine for COVID so fast if there wasn't already a really good collaboration there in the health research. And this will just develop from here on in because it's becoming the standard.
Right. And what do you think is needed for that collaboration to become better?
Well, I think for us at SURF, it means that we need to be in close contact with all the universities, with the university hospitals and the vocational education partners to make sure that we understand what they need to do their profession in the right way. And we also make sure that they have their international connections in place and that when they collaborate, it's safe and their data are safe. And, of course, very important is that we keep our sovereignty. That we have a say-so in what happens with the data that we gather, and that this doesn't, and we don't become alienated from those rights.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But what is the current status in the Netherlands right now? Could you say something about that?
I think we're in a good position because we have the cooperative that is SURF, and it's not just SURF, but SURF is also SURF and its members. All the universities, university hospitals, research institutes, and because we have a good collaboration and we have that trust, we can move faster now. And it's necessary to move fast because the world is not waiting for us.
No, unfortunately not. Let me see if I have a question for you. Lots of things coming in. Yes, a question from Ingeborg. This research week is the first in its sort and follows the example of the onderwijsdagen, the education days. we do hope the success will be likewise. How many people are joining online today? Okay. That's a nice question.
It's a nice question.
I don't know, actually. Okay. 270. 270. So I hope I've answered your question, Ingeborg. Thank you. Now, finally, Jet, what do you hope to achieve?
Well, I would hope to learn more in these 3 days on what the next step should be, because, of course, we at SURF have ideas about this, but it's very important to stay connected to the people we are doing it for, who are the researchers, the research support teams. So it's really good to have a lot of talks about this, to share developments and also see what the next step should be. And I'm looking forward to getting that input.
Great. Thank you so much. Now, Maurice.
Yes.
Could you tell us the ambition and purpose of this SURF Research Week?
Yeah, that fits in really well with the question that Ingeborg just posed. The Super Day was there already for more than 25, 30 years. And it was a day where a close-knit community who was interested in high-performance computing came together every year. Mm-hmm. Well, I would really like to expand that community to have a SURF and research and ICT combined either day or days. This year was supposed to be the first one to achieve that. Well, COVID sort of changed that, but you see it a little bit in the back in the program, especially on the second and third day, where we also highlight other aspects than just computing and data.
Right.
We go into praktijkgericht onderzoek. I'm not going to translate that. We're going into persistent identifiers as a subject, which is very important for research information.
Right.
So my ambition is that we have a set of days in the coming time where we bring a large community that's interested in research and ICT together, get new people, new topics in there, and also give room to our partners, like Health-RI and other research communities, to participate in this day and give them a platform to operate on.
Right, thank you. Now today our participants will mainly dive into data processing and high-performance computing. What main challenges lie in there?
Well, if I look at data and data processing, we are producing more and more data. And we is basically everybody, you with your iPhone and photos, researchers with their experiments and data. But we want to do something. There's value in this data. So at a certain point, we want to make sure that this data can be shared, can be reused, so that money is well spent, and only once, preferably.
Right.
So making data fair, findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable is one of the big challenges that we all have. That means that researchers have to change. They have to make their data available. It means that we, SURF and its members, have to provide the tools and the facilities to make that as easy as possible. Well, organizing that, making sure that all these pieces interlock and work together, it's one of the big challenges. The other one is getting the knowledge out there. Make sure that researchers, research supporters, have the skills they need to do this in an easy way.
And what does it mean for HPC landscape?
For HPC landscape, it's similar. It's also collaboration. It's also making sure we do the right things with the limited amount of money that we have. If you look at the HPC landscape, it consists of different levels. You have local clusters that are sometimes beneath the desks of the researchers. You have institutional clusters. There's a SURF supercomputer, and Walter will talk a little bit about that later on. And you have European scale computing. Making sure that researchers can transit these different tiers, have the knowledge to use these tiers, again, knowledge sharing and knowledge skills build up, are the big challenges. Making sure these little parts or big parts interlock and collaborate.
Clicks into each other,
yep.
Exactly. Thank you for sharing that. Now, what do you wish to happen for the participants the coming 3 days, and more specific, this coming afternoon?
Well, usually, as usual, two things. Extra knowledge.
Yeah.
I hope people learn something today. But also people. I hope people meet someone today and they have an extra contact, which gets us to a new idea, which gets us to a new project, which gets us to more knowledge. So these two things.
Yes, sounds very good. Thank you so much for sharing. Now, let's have a look at the chat stream. Well, I can't see a question, but I do see the poll answer. The poll needed a all of the above choice.
On who is at the table.
There are managers who are also researchers who also support. And I know Jeff, and that's indeed his role.
Okay, so who's watching? Oh, we have 29% of research supporters. Actually, the biggest group.
Yeah,
Yeah, very important people.
very important people, and getting in, to be in a more central role instead of sort of hidden away in,
Right.
At a certain department. They are sort of becoming more central to the research. I like this distribution very much, I must say. It's not peaked, strongly peaked in one, but it's...
No, exactly. It's very varied.
So apparently,
And
nice.
tomorrow we have the Champions Awards. Is that a reason also to kind of address?
I hope so.
Yeah.
It was one of the reasons to put a spotlight on the skills, abilities of the research supporters that are in at the different institutions.
Thank you, thank you. Well, both Jet and Maurice, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us. And Maurice, I'll see you later at the wrap-up.
Yep.
I'll see you on
Thursday.
Thursday. So enjoy the coming days. And I wish everybody an inspiring online experience.